Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 412, and today we're doing battle with Kayn Ornn. And so, Kayn Ornn, no new cards from Heart of the Huntress. Sorry if that's what you were hoping to see today, but this deck does have the Heart of the Huntress's shiningest star, the brightest star, the most well-lit star, if you will, in Siren's Song. Really kind of ingrained to everything that we're doing with this deck. And so before we talk about that element of the deck list, at its core, this is a Forge-based deck, as we typically see out of, say, Jax Ornn, to where we have these early game Forge units in the Weaponsmith's Apprentice and the Favored Artisan. We have the Bellows Breath as a kind of big chunk Forge card for the mid game. And what we're looking to do is really enhance a singular equipment, kind of throw away the remainder of our units, use them to help stall out the game, use some of the heal from the likes of the innovative blacksmith to stall out the game, and then we can play Ornn to copy that good equipment and then hopefully smash through in the late game with Ornn and his forged up weapon. And so that aspect of this deck very similar to what you would see out of the Jax Ornn decks. A lot of the units and cards line up very similarly. Where you used to have Ketch and Jax Ornn, we play things like Momentous Choice. Where you used to have Fish Fights and Jax Ornn, we have things like Furious Wielder. Whatever, a lot of the elements between the two decks are very similar. But where we really start to take into consideration this Siren Song element of this format is where we really kind of start to hone in with the usage of Kayn. And so the thing that we're seeing right now is, the Evelynn decks and the Siren Songs decks are running around. Their kind of answer to each other has just been to load up onto silences. And so our answer to all of the opponents playing silences is to hopefully just come out here with some good equipment, right? And so you can't silence away the stats and the abilities that you get out of equipment. And so we're going to look towards the equipment as our way to kind of counteract the common combat tricks and the elements of the format that the opponents would use to shut down the Evelynn deck. And so I'm very interested to be coming out here with the Forge elements of this deck, since you can't silence away the +3, +2 off of an equipment or whatever wondrous amount of stats that it's going to be giving you. And so that's part one of the equation. Part two, I really like Bellows Breath in this format. Even if you've played one Siren Song and you've given all of your one cost units the +1/+1, the Bellows Breath still kills the majority of them. It still kills Fizz, it still kills Shell Shockers, anything that starts naturally with 1 health, you can still clear off the board with the Bellows Breath. And so it kind of double ties in with everything that we're trying to do, to where the Bellows Breath can upgrade one of our equipment, and then we can also clear out a couple of the opposing units. The last thing that has me really kind of interested in this deck is the life gain elements to it. And so for the most part, all of the really early game aggressive style decks that have come about to take advantage of the Evelynn decks, they don't really operate well in the face of life gain. And so we have quite a bit of it in this deck, between Keeper of the Box being a premier lifesteal unit, the innovative Blacksmith getting you a point of life off of each forge, and then Kayn, if he does manage to get flipped, is able to get some more lifesteal off of each of his strikes. And so we have a lot of ways to really come in and kind of counteract the strengths of a Samira Fizz or a Samira Jinx, to where they're looking to have a very burn-heavy, wide, aggressive stance to take down these Evelynn decks. We're hopefully able to kind of come out and get in front of that. The last kind of wild card to the deck that we're going to be playing today is the Iceveil Cultist. This gives all of our equipped units Overwhelm, as you do need a way to kind of crash through some damage against the mostly wide-based elements of this format. The Iceveil Cultist gives us that opportunity to give our equipped units Overwhelm. And so our Kayn and Ornn both are equipped all of the time. The Combat Cooks and the Innovative Blacksmiths of the world coming with the equipment as well. It's not unreasonable for us to have all of our units on the board equipped, and then the Iceveil Cultist giving them all Overwhelm, allowing us to deal damage through the width of our opponents. And so that's the deck. That's what we're going to be doing battle with today. But before the battles begin, you know what you got to do. You got to pay that pay-to-win price. And I couldn't quite remember. Oh, man, we haven't premiumed up the Innovative Blacksmith. Oh, that has to be the one. She's probably the only one in here anyways. No, we haven't premiumed up the Iceveil Cultist either. But, man, I'm so surprised. We got bamboozled by this element the other day as we played the Triple Forge lineup in the most recent Runeterra Open, and I'm really surprised to see our Forge units not turn premium. But whew, fixing some of life's past mistakes, you know. You got to come in and you can't do everything right all the time, but you can recognize when you've made a mistake. Come in and fix that mistake. Make that weaponsmith's apprentice a little bit more premium. She's going to be ready for action now. So, good stuff. Let's see what turns up today. Hopefully we'll have some good battles. Here they go. So what do we got? Starting right off with the Evelynn. And so, let's see how our deck stands up against the strongest deck of the format. And so, reasonable enough start with the Keeper of the Box Darkened Spear. I don't think we need to hang on to Momentous Choices or Kayn. They're both a little bit too expensive for the moment. I want to get a little bit more early game interactivity before we have to pick those up. We shouldn't have to worry about too many early game combats here where the Momentous Choice is going to shine. I really want to come in and pick up a way to strengthen up our early game. All right. Apprentice showing that strength, getting that aggro in there. She says, I can do it. I can do it, Bust. I can bring the aggros right to him. So, all right, so let's go ahead and stop here, though. A touch awkward with the mana, but I think this is okay. I want to add in the Keeper of the Box. We'll add in the Darkened Spear onto him. Have this really meaty, fearsome unit that hopefully can't be interacted with in short order. All right, let's go ahead and send them in.
I know that look.
Wonder if he's got the song. It's very common to kind of take this angle to where you play Saltur, then you play the song, then the next turn you get the double evolve onto a single unit. Doesn't seem to be what opponents are going for here. They just don't have it. They do have the Evelynn, though. And so next turn, we're most certainly going to be looking towards making an open attack, which is going to be fine, right? The opposing Evelynn is going to go back to level 1 form next turn. She's going to lose off on her attack power, and so we're going to want to just open attack directly into that board. Here, this is interesting. I was immediately like leaning towards the overwhelm aspect of the Fishawhack, but I think I want to go with the Scout equipment here. We've already got 2 Icevale Cultists in hand, so I don't think we're going to be needing anything in the way of Overwhelm. The downside to this is he gets the free attack with Evelynn, right? Since we only took a 1 power equipment, we didn't have the 6 health it would have taken to attack her down.
Let's keep going.
Curious if he brings a block in with Evelynn, or if he says, nah, this is too scary. We can potentially take her down with the Furious Wielder if he does decide to block.
Hi there.
My ultimate concern with that is going to be... Uh-oh, we've got a shenanigan. What is this? I was going to say, my ultimate concern here with this was going to be... what are you doing? Oh, he gets the flip that way? Oh, she sees the unit in the back line die. That makes sense. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and just take this strike. Get this Evelynn off of the board. Hopefully he doesn't have another copy. Should be pretty safe with this though, right? If he does have a silence to try and shut down the combat cook, it's just not enough, right? He's only got the +1/+1, and so it's not a big load of stats for him. And then otherwise, if he had a +3/+3, we would have just had enough stats anyways. Alright, well, there's going to be a big boy coming down next turn, so let's just go ahead and take our attack with Keeper of the Box. We're going to look next turn into loading up with the Icevale Cultist and the upcycled Rake. Probably not going to be in a spot to where we can make good usage of the Cultist plus Scout next turn, but we do have the Unforgiven Cold to weaken the Evelynn. Which is so meaty now.
The Winter's Claw will never accept peace.
like I just don't think we're going to be able to attack around everything this turn. Ooh, I had to stop and take a peek with this momentous choice as to how close we were to killing an Evelynn. It's very similar to the problem with that last turn, as to where we want to make an attack and she can block once and just prevent so much damage. So I think we're going to have to wait to 2 turns from now to try to make an attack in. He is... I have no idea how close he is to Zolani at this point. He did play a pretty late Siren song, and so I would think Zolani's probably only up to like 10. Yeah, I think we're just going to have to go with width. Let's start with the Innovative Blacksmith. We can look and see if we pick up Fearsome, which we did manage to get. If we do an Unforgiven Cold, we can punch in the damage this way. Sure. We might look to do something with that next turn. But I mean, yeah, he shouldn't be able to kill us next round. It's like we're kind of dead either way if he does have Zolani.
I just love your stories about Ornn, okay?
Ready for a little splish splash.
We can like frostbite the Zolani, but then he'll still have it on the following turn. I think we got to get something in though.
More air, more cones.
Alright, let's see where that gets us. I'm not real pleased with how this has come together. We need Ornn or something to try and chunk in, but I think we're just going to be short at the end of the day. It's too much stats for us to attack through. There's Kayn. About 8 hours too late. And so see, here's what I meant with Zolani, right? We can play the Unforgiven Cold to get the Frostbite, so he wouldn't be able to get the big Zolani kill on us this turn, but we still don't have enough way to attack through this the next turn. So, GG. On to the next one. So yeah, sorry about the deck tracker not appearing. I don't know what the deal is. I pulled it up today. It's been doing this thing to where it says tracker service error. You hit retry and it doesn't do anything. And so, I don't know. What else can you say then? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. But my main thought and feel with this deck that we're playing right now is we're rapidly approaching the Mastering Runeterra Open. And my intent is to just ban, just to ban the Evelynn deck and do as best as we can against everything else. And then if they don't bring the Evelynn deck, then great. And so I don't intend to go all out in designing our lineup to deal with Evelynn. I feel like we'll just bring a good decks lineup, and then with that one out of the way, I feel pretty good with this stuff against all the control decks of the format. And having decks like this one against aggro is kind of nice as well. And so if we can chunk down that scary mid-rangey section, then I don't feel terrible. So we'll see. I haven't completely decided yet. We still have about a week, or I guess less than a week before the event is here. But get these interesting matchups like old Fizz out here, am I right? And so with this, it's kind of tough. I don't want to be losing our Innovative Blacksmith here, but there's not enough equipment to really pop off with her. And so, I mean, I guess we can look to just put the Darkened Spear onto the Artisan at this point, and then play the Blacksmith next turn. We lose out on 1 point of health this way, but looks like we'll be taking 4 on the round.
Over here.
What you got for us, Bakai? Ooh, another Blacksmith. That'll get us out of this pretty quick. So what do you got? You got any good ones in here? I don't want the blacksmith really coming down and getting into combat in this space. We need her to just kind of sit around and do a bunch of healing. She'll probably be attacking on the next go around, though. Let's just pick up the overwhelm. We'd picked up, say, like a pot of pain, and we would have been able to attack here.
Just an impression. To the forge. Yes, good. He would approve, I think.
One stylish shot and one flare in hand. Here's a big old Kayn, ready to do some combat stuff. So it's a bit of an unfortunate Unforgiven Cold here, since it's going to also hit the Jagged Butcher in the back line. And then the other thing we have to kind of question is if we want to get Kayn down, we want to keep this strike around so that we can use the strike to get him to flip. So I think that we just let this happen. It's unfortunate to lose our blacksmith, but we didn't really have the means to protect her. We have this other one, though. He swindles. Interesting. He doesn't have any equipment, which are the kind of big indicators for luck cards in our hand, but the Fish-a-Whack can be incredibly strong for opponent. Just having this overwhelming Samira or whoever loading it up on a elusive every turn, both quite strong. And now Keeper of the Box is definitely a tempting pivot here. My worry with dropping Keeper of the Box first is if it just gets hit with Pirouette, right? He doesn't know that we have this Keeper of the Box in hand. And so I kind of want to see if we can't bait him just a little bit. And then we can gain a ton of health with this thing. He did go for Fish-a-Whack if we are able to get it equipped next turn. We're going to be a little bit short on the mana to pull this stuff off, though.
The craft sings.
Okay. Combat. just the one, you know? Just the one. There's a Samira flip, sure thing.
Beautiful and brutal, just how I like it.
Everybody gets to flip.
Terrible things lay inside. My kind of girl. Gorgeous and
Alright, so the next turn, we'd like to be spending 9 mana, right? We're going to have, what are we at, 7 next turn? So if we bank 2, we can cast both of our spells. Let's just go ahead and Time and Dedication our Keeper of the Box. Make him a little bit safer in this space. He now just kind of naturally survives Samira. And I think we're good to go from there. Is he just taking a rally this turn? No way.
want to prove yourself?
Wow.
Now's your chance.
Are we just dead? I'm not used to this nonsense coming at us like this. 7, 8, 9.
Thrilling. Blink and you'll miss me.
Oh, I wanna play.
He's gonna get the burst kill next turn. Yeah, it's a this isn't a deck that we played against a ton of in what's it called? Whatever, in Eternal. And so it's always so wild to me when they're able to burst off like 6 or 7 spells. I mean, was it like 9 spells over the course of the same turn? Whew, I thought we were so safe there, but apparently not. I guess we should have stuck to just, well, we would have been fine if we just didn't play the equipment, right? We would have been able to do a strike off of a different unit, right? We couldn't have struck off of our lifesteal unit, but we could have struck off of one of our already equipped units. Oof. Brutal. Just coming right at you. All right, going up against Deep. This is historically a fairly tough matchup. We're doing a lot of the very same things, right? We're both heavily leveling up a couple of units with our abilities, but when it gets to like turn 8, they just level up every unit in their deck instead of just one big one. So it's pretty tough. Do we want to go for Kayn? He's kind of slow. Not a ton of stuff that he comes down and kills. Alright, I'm just going to bank up the mana here and add the blacksmith next turn. This is the problem unit from the opposing deck, is getting these scarabs off of the board. Alright, so Pan of Pain's fine. Lets us attack down a Sea Scarab. We'll drop the Combat Cook next turn. See if he doesn't get a nice, big, and juicy equipment as well. I don't think we want to just Furious Wielder the Scarab. It's just like such a poor usage of mana, but there's no other unit that we're really just like super interested in taking down. It's like this is the only unit that matters until Nautilus comes on the board. So let's see, he took a 2-bank here. It's tough to tell if that was to just save Vengeance mana or if it was, just the way his curve panned out. But if we try to Furious Wielder the Sea Scarab and then he has a Vengeance, we're just going to lose the game.
Vessel small, but she ain't lacking courage.
Alright. Jaw Hunters is manageable, though. Do not care about that guy. So it should be safe. Their removal is typically just like Undergrowth. Undergrowth, not capable of taking down a Blacksmith. Saw the Soul Harvest run through there. Wouldn't have been capable either. Now we're good to attack. Clear out as much board as we can without the Scarab around. Right. See if we can't just drop Kayn right into a Vengeance. The ultimate usage of Kayn. Just throw him directly into Vengeance. See what turns up. Don't want any of this nonsense. I was looking for the Expanse's protection. We just don't need Ornn, don't need the Unforgiven Cold. The Darkened Spear is a little bit slow for anything here, so we'll just let it go. We can switch over to Combat Cook now. Oh man, he had a 1-drop? I guess we knew he had a 1-drop. Sloppy.
Life feeds on death.
Alright, Combat Cook, what you got here? I'm leaning towards just the Fix him 5,000. I don't think we're going to have a real necessity to use any of that mana. But if he comes down and plays like the 3-4 next turn, it's nice to be able to jump in front of it. Yeah, this is such a brutal turn. Alright.
You are the tool.
It's just like the entirety of our turn gets shut down by him just playing a unit. Right? That's such a bad spot to be in with this Maokai running around. Right, got kind of a freebie there, though. Let's see if he comes at us with the Vengeance. I feel like that's actually a bit of a win for us if he has to Vengeance this thing away. well, no vengeance to be found. Nautilus will be the one that's up next.
Must be cut away.
Ooh, there's our Expanse's protection, though. That's the big one. Let us protect our Kayn. Let us protect our Ornn. One of the big reasons to be not playing Jax is having access to this spell. And now he's dropped below.
Blood and guts, golden glory.
He's dropped below Vengeance mana. We want to wait till next turn, though? I think we'll wait till next turn. I guess... he's at 20? I guess if he's just going to say drop Nautilus next turn, it's not that bad. Maokai's nowhere near flipping. He's at 14 to 25. It's like I just don't want to go into next turn and play Ornn and then like give him the opportunity to respond.
Delivers a clean kill.
Clean is.
There are stories in the reading.
It's probably just too greedy to have like any turn pass now where we don't have the mana for the Expanse's protection, and so I'm leaning towards we'll just play the double time and dedication this turn, and then next turn add in Ornn. Alright, let's see where that gets us. Nowhere good, I'm sure. Can we do this right? Can we copy this stupid thing? Does it just automatically hook the Kayn? It doesn't do weird shit, right, if we try and copy the Darkened Scythe? I'm a little worried about that one. Just the best equipment we have access to right now. And then 2 away from deep, so we should be safe enough, not worrying about Nautilus.
Be still.
Hold while I smith.
I will not rest.
Alright, well, we're going to have to deal with a nasty sea monster turn next round, but I think we've left ourselves in a good spot until then.
You hear the call.
Uh-oh.
Dive deep.
I did not anticipate the spell. Maybe we should have. I think it's still kind of okay. We have the giant equipment in hand, but Maokai flips whatever. It's either the opponent will win the game next turn, or we should be, well, probably not even that close to okay.
Drown in shadow.
Not used to seeing our Ornn just die. Whenever you attack with Ornn, you just assume that he's got to make it through the end of the day. All right, let's see what we can do now. The Unforgiven Cold was a pretty big addition. Let us potentially get a kill onto Nautilus. A lot of this will just depend on how many units he's able to throw down on the board this turn.
They will fear my name.
And grovel before mine.
The Winter's Claw will never accept peace.
what's he got for us now? The Riptide. I mean, it's tough, like, because we're at the point now to where we're just going to end up losing all of our units. Like, I think we have to do this. We expand his protection to protect this guy, and then we're going to put the Corrupted Scythe onto the Favored Artisan. So now we can block whoever with the Artisan. Like, if he attacks with Nautilus, we still have a block and kill on him. We can put Kayn onto the Sea Scarab and then not die for the round.
You'll ruin the work.
Okay. So, I mean, we're not dead. we do have this problem to where we need to get lethal on this turn. I guess we'll have a couple of more attacks before it's 100% over with, but it's kind of nasty. We didn't need the Overwhelm. We have the Cultist on board. I just assumed our Unforgiven Cold was going to do everything we needed. All right. Might have been too greedy, but I don't know. I don't know how we ever come back in this game if this doesn't work. Like, it's just so easy for him to just have another Nautilus next turn. Like, I don't think we're ever able to just deal enough damage. Maybe we should have taken that open. It gave us the chance to take 2 of these units off of the board. That's tough. I don't know. I know that's not a good matchup anyways, but that's rough.
Neither time nor violence can end me.
I'm curious how Sea Monsters ever beats Evelynn. Maybe they're on that same game plan to where if they're like, we're playing best of 3, we'll just ban it. It just seems to me like a not a very good deck for this meta. As we're cruising along at 0 and 3. All right, another round to Kayn. This time with his classic buddy Aatrox. Let's see what's up. Everything here way too expensive. A little bit better.
Going.
All right. Well,
I will take this.
I think I'm fine here in the early game to go ahead and take the bonus with the Darkened Spear. I feel like we'll probably get a few good attacks out of this thing before
Here, let me see that.
before it's irrelevant. This is a kind of a very stat heavy matchup, and so I think it's okay to drop it in here instead of just waiting until next turn for the Blacksmith. Now a Bellows Breath. Did we just going in?
Right, to work. Ever been to a blacksmith before?
The problem that you run into here is if you overstack on this Darkened Spear and then you want to turn it into a Naka later, you've just kind of you've missed out on all of those bonuses. He doesn't carry on the bonuses as he flips, and so I think we'll see what we can get out of a Bellows Breath a little bit more into the future. But the big thing for us here, opponent has some kind of weird draw. Really curious why he was playing all that card draw there right at the beginning.
I seek a weapon
But
worthy of Nagakeburos.
we'll take it. I like just get out of this turn with a 3 bank. Don't really want any of these cards. We'll get rid of all of this.
Peace through servitude.
Let me focus.
All right, clear these dum-dums out, and then we'll look to start dropping Bellows Breath next turn. the Darkened Spears turning up. And we'll say, what up, Kayn? We're ready. I'm ready for combat. Got my 6-2 bro on the board. This is okay if he's bringing in a strike. If you're not familiar with how Bellows Breath works, the ability still happens even if the unit gets killed. And so if he's going to spend a Furious Wielder to take down the Blacksmith, we don't get the forges onto the equipment because that's gone, but we do still get the AoE to clear out all these units.
Terrible things lay inside.
Why is this Darkened Lodestone fleeting? Did he draw cards? He didn't draw cards this turn, right? Strange.
The undoing draws near.
Yes, yours.
So I think I'm going to go with the Spear. If we really want to take down Kayn this turn, we can use the Momentous Choice. I think he's kind of stuck in this spot. I mean, I can't imagine he wants to hook Kayn into the Keeper of the Box. It's just asking for him to get blown up. So I think this is okay. We are really lacking stuff to do, though.
There are stories in the ring.
All right, well, our Keeper of the Box is going to be going to work. He does have Aatrox in hand now. I'm curious if he just plays him. So we have a couple different things we can do here. I'm going to lead off with this strike into Kayn. You can shatter, or you can put the Expanse's Protection in front of this. So what you're going to see now is we'll Expanse's Protection our unit. Kayn is still going to attack, and then we'll be able to just block Kayn with a Keeper of the Box.
Serve me, Rost.
This will make it sturdy.
Okay.
I failed you, Sad.
Let's get this little bit of damage in. We got to start worrying about, Aatrox coming on board, but he's going to be so slow at this point, I think it's okay. If we're able to just, say, play a Naka next turn, we're going to start being able to crash through this board, and so I think Aatrox is just too slow in terms of tempo now. Alright, Forsaken Bakai ready to block a Fearsome, though. he says, I got this, fam. Don't you worry.
All that lives, I will end.
Still attack? I guess you can say put like the Darkened Scythe onto Aatrox, but it's a pretty scary block for us if he actually just brings it. Okay. So that's fine. I mean, our unit wasn't really doing anything, and now we can get the second Anaka on board. So many Kayns. He's not quite big enough for me to be ready for that. But when you have 9 mana, you can Kayn and then Shadow Step. I think that's a little greedy at the moment. We could wait till next turn. Interesting. Well, we have a chance. We have a shot. So he's gonna, I guess it is pretty tough for us to deal 14 here, but the... Oh shit, why are you getting bonus stats? Thought you were just going to be 7-7. Ugh. Oh, this is nasty. This is not going to be good. We got Combat Cook coming in. That's 7. That's what you want to see. Did we get there? 14 exactly. Planned it that way. Planned it that way. All right, market a W. I didn't think we were going to get any of those. Playing sloppy, running into weird matches. Ugh. That was not been a good set of games so far. They've been fun games, don't get me wrong. They haven't been successful games in terms of winning. I'll tell you what I have been winning at though. I just go and queue into the gauntlet and concede. Collect those 3 trophies. It's so dumb. I don't know why it's not best of 3 right now. It's I guess I don't really get why Gauntlet's ever best of 1 anymore. It's like if you want to play best of 1, just go play ladder. Like I guess, you know, looking over at the space of Magic, they do have like best of 1 and best of 3 queues, and I guess that when like your game is as popular as Magic, you're able to run a ladder for best of 1 and a ladder for best of 3 and tournaments for best of 1 and best of 3 at the same time across various formats. Like Runeterra is just not big enough to be able to pull that kind of thing off. But it's like I get so excited over the course of the past few days, being like, "All right, I'm ready to go jump into some Gauntlet," and then just disappointment right after that. See that it's best of 1, and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to play best of 1." But here, we're going to hold on to the Bakai. We're going to have a 6 mana curve here where we drop these Keeper of the Boxes with the equipment, and so he's just not going to fit. We can wait and see if we find a bit of a better predict turn or 2 from now. Add in the Artisan, especially now that we've picked up the Bellows Breath. We can Bellows Breath onto the Keeper of the Box and not kill off our Artisan if things work out that way. Oh, that's fun. That's fun right there. Just hitting 2 ephemeral units off of your double trouble.
We have gone long without justice, but keep hope alive.
Alright, well, I'm going to let all that nonsense happen. He's most certainly playing a Siren Song next turn, but we should be able to follow up with the Bellows Breath 2 turns from now. It's a little unfortunate right now we don't have the mana to do everything, but ooh, it's just Reaver's Row. That's something to be excited about. Very important to get that clear now. We might have been able to wait just a little bit longer and get some additional units. Like, it's not impossible for him to have 2 or 3 more units to put on the board this turn and then be ready with the Eye of be ready with that Reaver's Row. Maybe we should have... What we did there was probably a little too greedy. We probably should have attacked first with just the Keeper of the Box. See if he adds any more cards to the board, and then played Bellows Breath afterwards, right? We had the pretty free attack with the Keeper of the Box having Fearsome there. So, I don't like entirely how we did that. I think we're still in pretty good shape.
The box bestows for a price. The strong don't want mercy.
Man, it's so tempting to just hit this with the Furious Wielder. Keep adding units to the board. It might have been better to just add... just do nothing and then wait on that Bellows Breath for next turn. I think this is fine, though. We'll get to add in Ornn and Bellows Breath 2 turns from now. This deck tends to play things like Sunburst, and it plays a few different ways to... it plays a few different ways to pick up the silences onto these units, and so having the protection spell for Ornn next turn is kind of important. Let's see. I guess
I made this happen. It was so good I named it.
He's just going to be surviving Sunburst, though, right? I see his 5/5 stat line, and I'm just like, oh no, this is never going to get the job done. But I forget that he's capable with his equipment.
To the forge.
Shadow and misery.
Alright, so we just got to fade a Zolani now. Don't have a great answer to it. We can clear out the board a little bit. That looks like what we're about to run into.
Now this is what good looks like.
Not going to be able to strike it down. But we might be able to, say, put a strike on the Taskmaster and then do enough blocking. Let's see if he just domes us from 20. Oh, he's taking the... Oh, he's not taking the greedy way. Okay, he just doesn't have it. I saw the burst spell come down. I was like, is he really gonna put the unit on board and then play Zolani first? That doesn't make a ton of sense. Alright, so this one will clear out everything except Fizz. You don't have to worry about Fizz killing us at this point. Should be pretty safe. I'm still a little worried about our ability to lethal next turn. It's like if he's got... The deck tends to play 3 copies of that the Nightfall card that silences 2 units. And so there's a definite amount of potential that opponent can just silence away our damage sources. But let's get a unit down, see what happens. He's not going to play anything that we want to strike this turn, and we don't have enough mana to do both.
Voice from within.
Here comes my molten friend.
Alright, Ornn. Managed to be enough. It's so rough. I don't like playing this Zolani minigame.
Celebrating for my tastes.
I don't know what the answer is. I think I've decided. I'm pretty certain that something will happen to Zolani when the balance patch rolls around. It's just one of those cards that it kind of goes against the natural flow of the game, right? Like getting units into combat and growing units is just kind of a natural thing to do as far as gaming is concerned. I won't be surprised to see it pushed up from 7 to 8 mana. But I think what would be really interesting and nice is putting the thing that just transforms your whole team, putting that as a play ability or a skill ability, a circle ability, so that you can react to it with a silence, react to it with a Rite of Negation or whatever the new Rite of Negation unit is, a deny, what have you. You have the options to stop it as opposed to it just ruining your day, right? But however else you want to call it, whatever else it does, just ruins your day, right?
There are stories in the ringing of steel.
Let's see. Like I think that those big high-powered cards like that certainly have a place in the game. It's just that he's going to have to be tuned a little bit. Alright, reasonable enough stuff here against Varus Nidalee. Off to a reasonable start. Gonna look to add the blacksmith here. I think it's still okay. If this is a trooper and we just end up trading, I don't think that's horrible. Just gonna go stat heavy. I usually don't advocate for the innovative blacksmith or for the stats, but I think it's gonna be safe here. Oh, That wasn't the angle I expected, but I'll take it. As you say, we're kind of safe to just come in and take a ton of damage because we have the Keeper of the Box, right? We can use the Keeper of the Box to heal back however much we need.
Things lay inside.
I will surpass these mortal constraints.
Right. This is not the sequence I was really expecting to come forth, but I will make the gigantic. Oh boy, and he gets the kill. I will make the gigantic Keeper of the Box and just push forward. Wow, did not expect that. Like, he can't be anywhere near enough, close enough to OTKing with Varus. So the shadows in the brush could be pretty much anything at this point. We do have the option to just switch, right? We don't have to leave that equipment on our Keeper of the Box. We're gonna let it sit there for a moment, but
What good is mercy?
okay. So this will angle up well enough. We can get the innovative blacksmith in now. I think we want the quick attack on this so it can safely attack this round, and then next turn we'll be able to play Kayn and have the Expanse's protection back up.
They will fear my name.
It's hard to envision what this unit is.
They don't even know you're there, Rob.
It's like whenever you see the ambush come down and just sit for a while, I immediately start to just assume that it's the Vestian Disciple. Is that what he's called? Avenging Vestia. It's either going to be it or in Italy. He loads in with Swinging Glaive. So if it is the 3/3, it's kind of scary at the end of the day. A lot of our attacks don't look very good. Just sending Kayn. If he's got a combat trick and we lose Kayn, I think I'm okay with it. And then of course our big boy will be able to survive here just fine. Yep. Interesting. Just dead. I was pretty worried as we were sitting there with the 1 health unit on board if Varus was going to be able to just come in and kill us next turn. The thing that I'm thinking we probably messed up in this game was we should have probably not worried about Kayn and then just looked to see if we can't dig for an Unforgiven Cold. Very good chance we just get blasted for 20 next turn. Let's do this. I'm gonna start just upgrading health. That's about as much as we can do at this point. The Darkened Bow is up to +6. Right, so we can get another 4 attack on Varus. Alright, well, we've got maximum health now, right?
Price to pay.
It's as good as we could do. We just have to be blocking everything. Let's be real with this. You know what's going to be disaster mode here is as we look towards this, getting our Ornn on board, and our strongest equipment is currently the Shepherd's Authority. And so we're going to have to put the can't block mode onto Ornn if he comes down next turn. I guess we don't have to play Ornn. We can look to play a Naka. But, phew, it's gross. Alright, who you got for us, friend? Ooh, another Renaka. That's the way it's meant to be done. That's the opponent's in such a safe space here, though, just to take the damage. Right, falling to 1, we shouldn't have any way to be able to deal a point of damage. No, definitely don't have to worry about it now.
Don't stand against us.
Alright, well, we're gonna have to draw an Unforgiven Cold or this game's done. He had his, so we should be able to draw ours, right? That's the way the game works. He did just invest pretty heavily in those blocks, so we may be able to do something next round. He's getting to the point to where you can't just deal a nutso amount of damage with Varus because he's done so many strikes. And so definitely want to go ahead and load up an equipment on this cultist, so if we pick up a strike card, we might be able to block one and strike the other one. Again, he's got the Chains of Corruption in hand, but through the strike card, it's not going to be enough, though. Sucks to play Kayn and just be like, well, guarantee you we don't have access to the frostbite now. You're free to go, my friend.
Don't even know you're there, Rust.
We'll see. I can't imagine this turn goes well for us. Cannot imagine.
Their minds are so fragile.
Alright. Do something dumb, right?
What good is mercy? Don't test me.
Where are we at? We still short? Nope. We're alive. We're alive. We can do it, friends. This is our 8-power strike as well, and so that gives us a chance to flip the Ornn and get the Overwhelm unit going. Shit, he's just got Chains of Corruption in hand. That's only gonna do +2 damage though, right? Puts the chains onto Varus to give him +1, and then he gets another +1 for playing his spell.
Sooner for some.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Still got this. Still got this really sweet Shepherd's Authority in hand. Ugh. Alright. But if we get 2 more draws towards an Unforgiven Cold, we can recover, right? We can recover. Well, Kayn's not the answer. We gotta just drop a Naka. I mean, we don't have to attack. Probably want to. We're out of all of our big cards. The deck tracker is kind of busted at this point, but leaning towards putting the Fix 'em 5000 on this thing And then next turn, it just gives us some more options as far as playing Ornn and letting him be able to block or drawing in another ferocious strike or something.
Yes, good.
You were not as strong as our last one. not as strong coming out of the favorite artisan.
Stories untold.
Alright, deck. Well, what you got for us? Need something good? Bellows Breath. If he does something weird, Bellows Breath might be enough. If we can clear out the Shadows and the Nidalee. The Shadows has to be... Well, he's played a bunch of those. He's played a bunch of the Manifest things, and so not a guaranteed chance to have that pop up. Nonetheless, good set of games. We're over the hour mark. We can pull this one up and talk about it a little bit more. And so I had a little bit higher hopes for this deck. I knew that the Evelynn matchup was going to be a nightmare, right? If you're looking to like getting to turn 7 and your turn 7 play is Ornn and you want to do something with Ornn and attack, and your opponent's turn 7 play is Zolani and they turn all of their units into 16/16s, like you can't compete with that, right? That's why so much of this format has really pushed down into the aggressive end of the spectrum, as you're able to take advantage of your opponent playing cards like Siren Song. They have a 4-mana do-nothing. You can just kind of attack around them. And if you think back to that game where we were actually playing against Evelynn, when they had the gigantic like 7/11 Evelynn, whatever she was, and then maybe one other unit, and we still just couldn't attack. That's what you're looking to take advantage of when you play a deck like Samira Jinx or any of the go wide aggro numbers right now. Is just being able to attack around that singular unit, and then they can't put enough stuff on board. But this deck doesn't really attack that angle. And I expected that. That was completely fine, right? I was looking at this in terms of playing in best of 3 and then just banning out the Evelynn deck when we get there. But I wasn't really happy with how this panned out in the other matchups. And we could have played a little bit smoother against the Samira Fizz. We probably shouldn't have lost that game and got just a little bit... Well, I should take that back and say even if we had played a little bit more conservatively, we probably still would have lost that game. And that's ultimately the thing that starts to worry me about playing a deck like this. It's just... I like the Freylord package. I think the early game heal units along with the Keeper of the Box is all kind of like nice and good. I just don't think this Kayn package is the way to go about it. And so I'm curious, as we pull this up a little bit more, if the answer to this isn't just playing Gwen. You can kind of move away from the Cultist. You can still play Keeper of the Box because you're playing... Shadow Isles, and then maybe having the lifesteal from Gwen and then the Keeper of the Box still in the deck with all the equipment. That might be something that you're able to pull off. But this Kayn package just hasn't done it for me today. It's like we're taking these hands and just like mulliganing away momentous choices and Kayn ultimately just being too slow. I don't think that this is really the meta for this to work out, even if you are looking to ban out Evelynn in the space of best of 3. I thought it was just going to be okay, right? You think if like in your early game you have these great cheap units and all the heal, and then you have this building up equipment if you have to play against, say, like just a super removal heavy like Nora based deck, and you're able to keep slamming down that big equipment, and their removal is all based on damage. Like you have like great spaces at both ends of the spectrum, and then just Evelynn is what's going to murder you every time. But I think the idea is maybe something there, but the execution just wasn't quite good enough, and so got to go back to the drawing board with this one. And so mark it as a good idea, poor execution or something like that. But nonetheless, good set of games. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. Since this is Busted Me, thank you for being here.